Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Okay, Toddler Tribe. I wanted to tell you something that I don't think people tell you enough. Toddlerhood is not terrible. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be a terrific time of exploration and learning and deep connection between parent, caregiver, and child. And so I invite you to go have a look at my Transforming the Toddler Years course, because it doesn't have to be as hard as it feels every single day. We'll look through the 6 soul and science-based modules together. The magic of your mindset. I'll talk you through the power of your perspective and how you can truly shift everyday moments. I crack the hood on what's going on in your baby's brain, break down the linguistics of the language we use, how we talk to kids, and how they hear us. And then we go all in on the science of strategies and build you a personalized parenting toolkit that allows you to tackle every day and feel a real sense of accomplishment that you are raising your unique, authentic child to be the very best version of themselves, and you're growing every day too. I'm 100% in your corner. These are all self-paced modules, but every course purchase comes with free access to our bi-monthly group coaching program for 3 whole months. So hop on in and let's get started transforming your toddler years today. Use the link in the show notes, and I cannot wait to see you there. Welcome back, Toddler Tribe, to the show. Today we're talking about praising our kids. This actually just came up fairly recently in a training that I was doing, and I got a really unique question when I talked about praising with a purpose. I've had other episodes on the show about this, so if this sounds a little familiar, then that's why. But we're going to dive into it a little bit differently today. So here's the roadmap for today. We're going to review why and how we praise intentionally so that we do not try to eat away at our children's identities or define their effort based on what we want to see. And we're going to talk about when. I have a 3-step plan for you. I'm going to share 3 steps for how to do that effectively. And then we're going to talk about when kids might age out of needing you to really do it this way and where we can make some shifts as they age. So let's dive in. That's a lot to fit into one of my solo episodes. So as a reminder, when kids do something that absolutely amazes you, the tendency is to use either I am statements that come from you. I am so proud of you. I am so amazed by you. I am the one. Or you are statements that attach to their identity. You are so smart. I knew you could do it all along. You are brilliant. When we use these statements, these pronouns flip when they get heard and processed in the child's brain. So I am so proud of you becomes she is proud of me. Not, I am proud of myself. And isn't that what we want? We want to develop a sense of intrinsic accomplishment. And I worked hard and did that all by myself. This is how we build kids' character and motivation and perseverance, because things are not always easy. They're going to have to work through them to get to that other side. So when you are using statements of praise, you want to make sure, especially if you're new to this flip, because let's face it, most of us were raised the other way. So this is tricky, this intentional language shift. Just stick with the you are statements, or just the plain you. You worked really hard. If you need to throw the I in there, you can do it, but it sounds like this. I saw you working really hard. I saw you trying and trying again. That is a reflective statement that works. But when you're talking, because you're talking to the action, right? You're talking to the effort that they have taken or are taking. When it's time to praise, please use the you are statements or the you must statements. You are jumping up and down because you did it. You did it all by yourself. You must feel so proud, happy, surprised, excited. Let them have that moment, because the you are statement turns into I am in their brains. I am so proud of myself. I am so excited. I am so happy. I did it all by myself. Okay, so there's that refresh. If you haven't caught previous episodes around praise with a purpose and why it matters so much, how we phrase and address our kids in those moments. So I'm going to tell you a little story before I give you my 3-step plan. Because the question that I got when I was training recently to a group of early childhood educators was, well, at what age can we start just telling them how proud we are? And what a great question. So here's the answer. The early childhood education window, as defined by the cognitive brain architecture over time, is birth to 8 years old. Okay. At 8 years old, you've got either a second grader or if your kiddo's birthday misses cutoffs, maybe an early third grader. So birth, or in the world of teaching and education, we say third grade is kind of where that second wave of education begins. There's a good reason for that. It's also where that new level of cognitive ability and processing and meaning making and discernment is capable of developing. I've told you before that 85% of the foundational brain growth of the size of a child's brain is done by 5. But that other 15%, we work and work and work, right? It happens more slowly, but it is happening over time. So after 8 years old is when you could start doing that. However, I'm going to caution you because I firmly believe, as a mom who has done this and has adult kids, as a teacher who has worked with every level and stage, K through 12, as a linguist who has pulled the language apart and put it back together for you for best intended results, I firmly believe that you always want to start with my 3-step plan. So the story, well, I got sidetracked. I do that. The story. My daughter, Claire, is in college. Well, both my kids are in college, but this story is about Claire. She had an online class and it was a semester. Oh my gosh, kicked her took us. I could just see the emotional whiplash and the yo-yo effect of that these classes were taking on her. They were higher level than she was exposed to in the past. They were content topics that she didn't necessarily have any foundational knowledge for. And this is a big one. Her experience as a junior and senior in high school were when we were in pure, true COVID mode. And so when she started college, she really didn't have some of the foundational pieces she needed to understand how you approach a college class or what a college paper looks and sounds like differentiated from a high school paper. So not only was she having to learn the content that was all new, she also was having to learn the procedures, and she was drowning. So easy to want to step in and help. But that's not my job. My job is to make sure that she knows she's loved and supported and that the effort she puts in matters and that whatever comes on the other side of that effort is her reward to have. So we get to it's final exams week, and she's occasionally communicating with me, and it's final exams week, and she's finally submitted all her stuff and is just kind of a hot mess around it. And all of a sudden, the grades roll in, and she doesn't live in the house with us, but she showed up, and she said, "Guess what, Mom?" Now, body language and posture, I immediately knew we were headed for good news. She said, "I did it. I did it. I passed all my classes. And not only that, I can't even believe this. I ended up with A's." Okay. What's the very first thing I want to say? Because I'm bursting for her, especially since I had to separate myself and just let her do the drowning, let her do the doggy paddling, let her figure it the heck out herself. The very first thing I want to say is, I am so proud of you. But even at the age of 22, I don't do that. It's not my moment. It's not my pride to have. I get the joy in the moment, but that comes later. So the very first thing I said to her was, you must feel so proud of yourself. Exactly what I would say to a 2-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 14-year-old. You must be so proud of yourself. And the reason is we want to continue at every level to support that intrinsic desire, that internal motivation to want to succeed. You must be so proud of yourself. Did I have a really high voice and was I maybe jumping down a little when I said it? Absolutely. The next thing I said was, you worked so hard. I know I distanced myself a bit, but I did that intentionally. But I saw you and I watched you work so hard for this result. You must just be so proud of it. What does that second part mean? You worked so hard. Again, we're praising that effort and we are celebrating it. We're celebrating the effort and the accomplishment that went along with it. So far, we've helped them praise themselves and we've celebrated the effort. Now, in this third step is where you get to show up. This is where you get to share your experience of their journey. This is where you get to pull out your I statement. I was a little nervous. I won't lie. I said this to her. I was a little nervous watching you, but I was also so filled with joy. And I was so proud to watch you struggle against something that was harder than you've ever done and continue to fight at it. So impressive. So well done. I share your joy. 3 steps. 1, 2, and 3. And they are so powerful. You have fully communicated that you are downright on the ground proud of your child. But you've done it in such a layered, intentional way where the first 2 steps were all about their effort, their experience, their outcome, and their identity because of it, that when you swoop in with the last one, it just feels like a big warm hug, which honestly, maybe you should give. So the answer to this very astute woman's question on the webinar is the question being, what age can you start to heap praise on and you're not degrading or chipping away at their identity? I say it's never. I believe that we have to always have these first 2 outward statements so that they can hold them from an inward place. Then we can add our feelings and experiences around their successes. And the reason, the big reason is whether you're doing this at 2, 5, 12, 17, 22, or beyond, is that we and they are never done growing and evolving into the next hard thing. And so the easiest person in the world to let down is ourselves. The easiest person in the world to be a critic for is ourselves. So I feel like it's our job for the rest of our children's lives to be the counteractive piece there, to be the person who is cheering on that inner self and saying, yeah, you actually can, because I know you have in the past, but let me make it so that you believe you can. So you can look back to the future and see, yeah, I've probably got this, just so long as I take it step by step by step. I hope this was a helpful deconstruction of the language we use when we are praising kids. And please feel free to use it, not just with your kids, with anyone else as well, because it is just a human experience for us to want to hear somebody say, you worked hard. Congratulations. I see your effort. All right. To my toddler tribe out there doing the big work, you know what to do. Stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.